going to talk about phrases. Whoa. Phrases. All right. A phrase is a group of words without a verb and its subject that is used as a single part of speech in a sentence. Okay, phrases bring extra information into sentences. So, thing to note is a group of words without a verb and its subject. And the big thing to keep in mind is it's used as a single part of speech in a sentence. When we see a phrase, we think of a single part of speech. You know, one thing, one action, one description. Now, the first kind of phrase I want to take a look at is prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase, as we see here, is a group of words beginning with a preposition and ending with a noun or pronoun called the object of a preposition and including the modifiers of the object. I will say, once in a while, there'll be a modifier after the object. That's unusual, but it does happen once in a while. So, for example, in this sentence, of words is a prepositional phrase. Begins with a preposition, ends with the noun words. With a preposition is another. With a noun or pronoun, in this case we have a compound object, noun and pronoun both follow with, called the object of a preposition, and including the modifiers of the object. So, beginning with a preposition and ending with the object. Remember, the definition of a preposition is a word that connects a noun or pronoun with the rest of the sentence. It shows the relationship. So, of shows the relationship between words and groups. A preposition shows with shows the relationship between a preposition and beginning, and so on. Okay, some other examples. I am the light of the world. Again, we have the preposition of, followed by the noun world, which would be the object of the preposition. Okay, there is no God beside thee. Okay, notice that, and there will be some other examples here, that in this case, beside thee answers the question where, or to what, in what manner, how. So it doesn't really modify God. It modifies the verb. Okay. At the name of Jesus, every knee should bow, whether on the earth, above the earth, or below the earth. Okay, so you can see the prepositional phrases. Okay, here beside is the preposition, in this case, followed by a pronoun, but in that pronoun, the object is the object of the preposition. So, let you look at those for a minute. Now, there are two kinds of prepositional phrases. And if you know your parts of speech, you may already figure out what they are. Adjective phrases are prepositional phrases that modify nouns or pronouns. So, in this sentence, I am the light of the world. Of the world modifies light. Okay. Which light? The light of the world. Or what kind of light? The light of the world. Okay? In this sentence, of Jesus modifies name. Which name? Or whose name? Of Jesus. preposition, Jesus is the object. Second kind of prepositional phrase is an adverb phrase. A prepositional phrase which acts as an adverb, amazingly enough, is an adverb phrase. And it modifies verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. It may be used with the verb to be when showing time or place. So, there is no God beside thee really modifies is, because it's showing location in terms of hierarchy anyhow. And okay, at the name answers the question when. When every knee should bow. And on the earth, above the earth, or below the earth, answer the question where. Where those knees are found that are bowing. So again, we see here a number of adverbial phrases or adverbial prepositional phrases. The rich man left in great sorrow. In modifying left, modifying the verb, and answering the question how or in what manner. Paul was determined to go to Jerusalem. To Jerusalem. Modifies go, answers the question where. And this is one thing you have to be aware of. In fact, I'm going to use the red to show warning. Beware of infinitives. To, followed by a verb, is not a prepositional phrase. Preposition is followed by a noun or pronoun. If it's followed by a verb, it's not really a preposition, it's not a prepositional phrase. So, so to go is something different. Call it an infinitive. And we'll learn more about those later on this semester. But so if you see the word to followed by a verb, it's not a prepositional phrase. Warning. Okay, another kind of phrase is the appositive. An appositive is a noun phrase that follows a noun or pronoun to rename or further describe that noun. So, appositive is acting as a noun. Okay? And so, the appositive will have a noun, sometimes a pronoun, although that's rare, but have a pronoun in it plus its modifiers. So, the appositive includes the noun plus any words or phrase that modify the noun. So, Peter, a Galilean fisherman, would become the acknowledged leader of the apostles. Okay, a Galilean fisherman is an appositive. It follows Peter and further describes or renames Peter. Okay, and there is no preposition, so it's not a prepositional phrase. And the main word is a noun, and then of course a and Galilean are both adjectives that modify fisherman. Okay, Judas betrayed Jesus for the traditional price of an adult male slave, 30 pieces of silver. In this case, 30 pieces of silver is the appositive. Okay, the main noun in the phrase is pieces. 30 modifies pieces, answers the question how many. Of silver, prepositional phrase that also modifies pieces, what kind. And of course 30 pieces of silver renames or further amplifies the price. But it is a noun phrase. It answers the question what. Remember, nouns always answer the question what or who. So this one, a Galilean fisherman, answers the question who. This one answers the question what. And note that the appositive may contain other phrases such as the prepositional phrase in this sentence. If you think about it, epithets, and I think you had something about epithets first semester, epithets are a kind of appositive. So in the name Alexander the Great is a noun following Alexander and further describes or names him. Appositives are usually set off by commas. If the appositive is necessary to identify the noun, then commas are not used. So, for example, in Alexander the Great, we don't set off the great by commas because it's necessary to identify, because there are a bunch of famous people named Alexander. So Alexander the Great tells us, which one, the king of Macedon, and so on. Okay, if the appositive comes at the end of a sentence, it may be set off by a colon for emphasis. We saw that in the previous slide with the 30 pieces of silver. If it comes at the end and you want to emphasize it, you may set it off with a colon. That's often done with lists. In order to make clam chowder, you need the following ingredients. And then you list the ingredients. And really, that list of ingredients is an appositive. Potatoes, onions, milk, cream, clams, pepper, whatever. Okay, appositives may also be set off with dashes, either for emphasis or if the positive itself contains commas. For example, in this sentence here, Peter, James, and John is an appositive. It further describes, further amplifies the noun disciples. And Peter, James, and John are also nouns. So it's a noun phrase. But this phrase already has commas in it. So if you just set it off by commas, it would be confusing. It would be hard to read. You need something stronger than a comma to separate this appositive from the rest of the sentence. So you use dashes for that. I'll let you look at that for a minute. Okay, to review, a phrase is a group of words without both a subject and a verb that act together as a single part of speech. Notice in these two kinds of phrases we looked at today, prepositional phrases act either as adjectives or adverbs. An appositive acts as a noun. Prepositional phrases begin with a preposition followed by a noun or pronoun that the preposition relates to the rest of the sentence and includes all modifiers of the noun or pronoun, and that noun or pronoun is called the object. Preposition may have more than one object. We saw that in one of the sentences we had before. There is one case in English where the object precedes the preposition. We'll cover that later when we get into clauses. You don't have to worry about that at this time. If there is no object of the preposition, then you have an adverb, not a preposition. For example, if you memorize the list of prepositions from your literature book, after often is a preposition, but not always. So in this sentence, from our nursery rhyme, and Jill came tumbling after. There is no object. After what? Well, it just says after. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. So in that case, in this case, after is not a preposition, it's an adverb, because there is no noun or pronoun that it's relating. So, do watch out for that. Okay, adjective phrases are prepositional phrases which modify a noun or pronoun. And remember, too, just as a reminder, in case you'd forgotten from first semester, adjectives answer the question, which one, what kind, or how many. Adverb phrases are prepositional phrases which modify a verb, adjective, or other adverb. And again, in case you'd forgot from first semester, adverbs answer the question when, where, how, in what manner, or to what degree. Kind of how and in what manner are sort of the same thing. Adverb phrases may also modify the verb to be. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. In the kitchen, answer the question where, but it doesn't really modify someone, it modifies is. And with Dinah, same thing. It's not someone with Dinah is in the kitchen, but someone is in the kitchen with Dinah. So both of those adverb phrases answer the question kind of where and modify the verb to be. And remember, if the verb to is followed by a verb, it's not a prepositional phrase. It's an infinitive, okay? Like we saw, like if you wanted to go. Okay, and then an appositive is a noun phrase which follows a noun or pronoun to describe or rename the word it follows. The appositive includes all the words that modify the noun in the phrase. Appositives are normally set off by commas. Most of the time, you'll see that. In fact, that's probably in the exercises in the book, probably a good clue. But there are some cases where there's no punctuation. Talked about that, and some cases where they could be set off with dashes or with a colon. So, do watch out for that. And so, I would recommend, if you haven't done so, to read in your grammar book the material about prepositional phrases and appositives. So learn a little bit more about that, maybe from a different perspective by reading about them in your book. You might want to look over some of the exercises concerning these phrases, and we will work on these exercises the next time we meet for grammar in class. So be sure to bring your grammar book to class. You will need it in class for those lessons. Thank you.